In Nosgoth, each race has 4 classes. Humans have the Hunter, the Alchemist, the Scout, and the Prophet. Vampires have the Reaver, the Tyrant, the Sentinel, and the Deceiver. Upon starting the game, the Hunters come with the Repeater, the Bola, and the Explosive Shot, as well as the daily perk. The Repeater is a rapid-fire crossbow that feels like a submachine gun from other shooters. The Bola is a single-target crowd control to prevent your opponent from attacking. And the Explosive Shot is 3 rounds of area of effect damage. Alchemists are the second base class for humans. They come with a hand cannon, a light bomb, and a firewall. Of course, the daily perk is included. The Alchemist grenade launcher does one of the highest amounts of damage on the human side. It does damage in an area of effect, but the units farther from the blast take slightly less damage. The Sunlight Vial acts as a flashbang and blinds enemies, and the firewall can be used to cover a retreat, gain territory, or just deny movement from vampires. Scouts are one of the 2 unlockable human classes. They come with a compound bow, throwing knives, and the ability to call down a volley. By left-clicking, you quickly launch an arrow for immediate damage. By holding down the right mouse button, you draw your bow and charge a more powerful shot. It takes longer to initiate and pull off, but does more damage. When engaged in close quarters, scouts can use their throwing knives to damage and stun the enemy. The scout's volley ability calls down a hail of arrows from off-map archers. It covers a large area and can be thrown over buildings, but you will take damage from this ability if you stand in it. The Prophet comes with dual pistols, the Banishing Shot, and Life Leech abilities. Banishing Shot prevents your enemies from attacking or using abilities upon hit. Life Leech steals health from the opponent, dealing 200 damage, and will give you 200 health if you are missing any. The Reaver is the first of the 2 base classes you get on the vampire side. They come with the Pounce ability, the ability to toss down a smoke bomb, and the ability to avoid bullets momentarily. I, however, would suggest quickly getting Shadow Step, as I prefer this ability many times over evasion. Reaver's base attack launches you forward, dealing 185 damage. It can chain together, but it can also be held down to charge up and deal more damage. The Reaver's Smoke Bomb ability will highlight all humans it affects, and will reduce their vision exponentially. You, however, have no problem seeing in this. The Evasion ability allows your character to automatically move out of the way of incoming arrows, but you still take area of effect damage. Tyrant is the second base class for vampires, coming with the Charge ability, the Ground Slam, and Ignore Pain. They are the tanky frontline for the vampires. Like the Reaver's left click, the Tyrant's auto attack launches you forward, but it deals 215 damage instead. It can be used charge to do more damage. The Tyrant's Charge ability enrages you when you charge forward, immune to all CC, knocking enemies out of your way. The Tyrant's Ground Slam ability stuns and deals damage to nearby enemies, stopping charging and abilities. The Tyrant's final ability, Feel No Pain, reduces damage you take by a large portion and makes a metallic sound upon hit. The Sentinel is a mobile assassin for the vampires. He is the 3rd class that must be unlocked at levels 5, 10, or 15. His main ability is the ability to kidnap enemies. He can flap his wings to deal area of effect damage and knock them back, and he has the ability to dive bomb out of the air. Part of the Sentinel's niche as an assassin is that he can pull enemies away from the group. He has the ability to fly. As he ascends, he slows down, but as he dives towards the ground, he speeds up, which can be very useful for mobility. Here's his wing flap, which knocks back the enemy and deals damage. And here, the Sentinel picks up an enemy, carries them away out of position, and then drops them to their death. The Deceiver is the second unlockable class for vampires. They're an assassin themselves, but they do not work the same way as the Sentinel does. Their initial abilities are the ability to disguise themselves. They have the ability to backstab their opponents, and spawn illusions to confuse and disorient their enemies. I'm showing the abilities slightly out of order, but Deceiver has the ability to transform into a human in appearance, and he will show up on the enemy team's radar and screen. This is broken upon attacking or climbing. The Deceiver also has the ability to split into 3. 2 copies will be NPC controlled and run anywhere, and 1 will be the player controlled character. And Backstab does more damage from behind the enemy. Now that I've gone over every class's abilities, we're going to discuss briefly their roles. The Hunter is the human's closest thing to what I would call almost a generic DPS. Their Repeater puts out constant amounts of damage. They're quite a good unit to have. They're not exactly... None of the humans are exactly tanky, but these guys are normally at the front because their weapon sprays a little bit and can cleave other... Not cleave, but can stray off and hit another vampire than what they were intending to hit. Their Bola allows for them to be on the front line and shut down an enemy from attacking them, and the Explosive Shot puts out area of effect damage. They are a really high damage dealing class. They're not exactly a bad pick in any situation. I've seen 4 hunters do so much damage that it's hard to engage in them if you do it incorrectly as a vampire team. The alchemist is really good against teams of vampires that are really, I almost want to say melee heavy, but all the vampires are melee. Like, they don't have a way to pull your team apart like the Deceiver and the Sentinel. They're all just Reavers or Tyrants that need to be stacked on top of you because the Alchemist does a lot of area of effect damage. Their alternative abilities for the Alchemist allows them to put out some area of effect damage, or sorry, to enhance their area of effect damage and get some healing out to be more supporty as well as just a cleave bot. The Scout is an okay DPS. You don't want more than 2, unlike the Hunter where you can get away with all 4, because Scouts really have a hard time with things being on top of them, whereas the Hunter just keeps shooting you in the face. The throwing knives allow them to do a lot of fun things. Volleys are probably the best ability they have for their second slot. The bow choice is absolutely up to the situation, but the Scout in general is a really good situational DPS and long poke. It prevents, like, it punishes partial or poor initiations on the vampire side by dealing good amounts of damage to them. And it's a really nice class to have. The war bow allows you to stun enemies and can prevent initiations completely. It can completely nullify a sentinel, like, swooping down into you, can be knocked off completely. Tyrants cannot have their charge dismantled, but when they leap through the air, which is one of their abilities, you can pick them out of the air with a war bow. The Prophet has 2 real roles. It can be a primary DPS like it is here with a little bit of support. Its generic setup allows it to do good damage per second through the dual pistols. The Banish Shot allows it to provide the Warbow effect, we'll call it, where it can deny Sentinels swooping down and picking people off and Tyrants in the air. It can deny initiation through that. And it becomes kind of tanky and can stand in the front because it's short range and life leech, which hits you actually at long range, but the fact that it drains health from the enemy, reducing their strength, and swinging the health in your favor, effectively by 400, because they lose 200, you gain 200, allows them to sit on the front line and take a little bit of damage, more so than you would expect, and can really bait in bad overextensions from vampires. On the vampire side, we have the Reaver, he's kind of the generic melee DPS. It's high melee damage output, good mobility, not exactly tanky, has just as much health as any of the humans do. His alternative abilities allow him to, with Sweeping Kick, do some more area of effect damage, as opposed to just what he happens to claw on his way to his target. My favorite ability is probably the Choking Haze. It allows them to start to deny space by throwing down poison that deals 150 damage if you step into it, plus damage for how long you stand in it. As I said, Shadow Step is my favorite ability because what I like to do when I'm low health as a vampire, specifically a Reaver, is I will charge a long-range pounce. I will pounce in, hit somebody with the longest range portion of it, doing the highest amount of damage. In this case of normal pounce, it is 450. I normally run Savage Pounce, which does 650 damage on impact, plus damage over time after they land. I will impact them, deal the full bulk end damage, jump off of them by holding the E button, and then Shadow Step to safety. It allows me to continue to put out good damage while I'm low on health, and allow my team to potentially find a good initiation and pull them out of position. The Tyrant is, like I said before, the tanky front line for the vampires. His primary ability is Charge, and it's uninterruptible. Once you start it, no CC ability can stop you. But it's not the best initiation. Like, it's good, but it's not the best. My preferred is the Jump Attack. It jumps in, stuns enemies in a 600 radius momentarily, and deals 500 damage. It's really amazing, but it's risky, because, as I said before on the human side, the Scout and Prophet can completely deny you. Once you're in the air, you are helpless. And once you're in the air, a Warbow or a Banishing Shot just completely makes you useless. A Warbow will actually do a ton of damage to you in the air because from the peak of your jump, if you're hit, you will fall all the way to the ground and take about another 150 damage. That's a total of 550 damage and a failed initiate, which can really not do well for your impending fight between the two teams. Sentinel is really good at singling out enemies. I don't have the 2 abilities here that I want to show you. The alternative abilities are, for the dive bomb, the alternative ability is airstrike. The sentinel stops in the air and throws a grenade, which forces the team to break up a bit or take some damage. I like that ability quite a lot. And the alternative to wing flap is puncture, where you jut your wings forward and deal 400 damage. Between puncture and airstrike, your job as the sentinel is literally to fly in, separate them, kidnap one of them, pull him off, drop him, and then just puncture him for the kill. And that makes it immediately a 4v3. Your usefulness individually is reduced at that point, but you've done your job. You've tilted the fight in your favor. And the Deceiver, I'm on the fence about this one. It's a good class. I've seen people play it really well. Most people don't use Disguise. They'll take Mind Control, and they will replace illusions with Phase, which gives them stealth. While you are in stealth, you deal damage per second around you, and you can come out of stealth with a backstab behind somebody to deal damage to them. Dominate Mind allows you to stand decently far away. It's a short-range ability, but you control an enemy's movement. You take control of that enemy's movement so long as you're in line of sight of them for about 6 seconds. You deal 50 damage per second, so that's 300 damage, and you control where they move. You can pull them out into your team, can stop a scout, you can, dominate mind a scout to prevent them from stopping your initiation. You are completely vulnerable during this because you have to be in full line of sight of them, so their team can see you and their team can shoot you. But I like this ability because it pulls enemies out of position. It can allow you to get your initiate off where you otherwise wouldn't be able to. And it provides utility. Backstab is always good. There's no reason to change Backstab for anything. The alternative to Dominate Mind is Disguise, and it works a lot better in public matches than it would in any kind of group scenario where you have team communication working well. But Disguise, really, I've seen it work out to where somebody's disguised, and the team is split 2-2, and instead of running for their allies, the closer two humans will run for the disguised vampire, and then one is getting picked off themselves for a free kill. So, it's really good, but each place has their own role. We're going to go through a generic damage dealer, support, damage dealer, support with a long-range harassment ability that punishes poor play. Prophet is DPS/healer/frontline, because their sacrifice ability is really strong at giving their health to somebody else. Like, you lose less health than you give to others, and you can really gain that health back quickly with Draining Curse. DPS/area denial. Frontline and heavy damage, because the Reaver or the Tyrant here does 215 a swing, the most swing damage for any vampire in the game. Assassin, and we're gonna call this, I want to call it like counterintuitivity, but it's not. So we're gonna say this is an assassin and game flow control, because you really control where the humans can and cannot group up. You deny them most outside portions of maps with this. It's really nice. And this is a support control with a good burst damage. That is your, that about wraps up this video, guys. Thank you for checking it out. You now know the roles of every class, the basic abilities of every class, and you should be just about ready to go into the game and start trying things out. If you've already played the game, this is just a little more in-depth look at how the roles really work together, and it is almost always better to have one of each class, at maximum 2 of one class. You never want more than 2 of one class, with exception of the Reaver and the Hunter. Those are the only 2 you can get away with, because they're generic enough DPS to where they can fill other roles. If you liked this video, please be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitch. The link to my channel will be in the description. And be sure to give feedback on the video, what you did like about it, what you didn't like about it, what you would like to see, so I can improve the quality and release more videos for you in the future.